Hello to everyone out there. This is Amanda Ray coming to you with another video. And for all of those who are tuning in, I have a great interview today with Kirkshinta. For those that don't know, she is a full-time online marketer, former educator who decided to leave the school district, did not want to do teaching anymore, just felt like I've been connected with Kirkshinta for some time now, so I kind of know a little bit of her story. But there was a lot of things that was taking place that she just did not agree with and decided that she wanted to become her own person to be able to control her financial freedom and work the hours that she wanted. And she's now a coach online. She teaches people how to earn money from home. And I'm so happy that you're here with us today. Thanks so much for doing this interview with me. I'm just excited because so far, all of the people that I have been interviewing are great people. They're here to help people to achieve financial freedom. They give a lot of value, and I really look up to them. And I just want to be able to share these stories with you so that people know that I'm not the only one that's doing this. There's a lot of people who are having great success with becoming their own person, finding their way through online digital marketing and showing others how to do the same. So, hey, how you doing today?
Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Glad to have you. So if you can just tell us a little bit about your background and why you started your online journey, that'd be great.
Okay. So my name is Coach Kirkshinta Turnipseed, and I actually started my journey so I started in higher education actually and moved into K-12, started teaching health. And one thing that led me to want to come to make money online was, a lot of people have these assumptions that because you're a professional that you make all this money. And in some sectors, you pay a lot of money in student loans, but you're not necessarily earning what you deserve. And you're putting in so many hours. Like my typical work week was, 50, 60 hours. That was my typical work week. And I didn't feel that the amount of time that I was putting in, it didn't balance out in terms of what I was bringing home. And then on top of that, the environment that I was in, ridiculous. I had so many stories, and people who follow my journey long enough, they've seen, pictures of mice in this thing. I worked in a really bad work situation. And, my reality was that every Sunday I would be praying to God for a solution. I don't want to have to go to this place to be able to pay my bills. There has to be a way where I can, use my cell phone and pay my bills, and that's why I went online looking for a solution. And it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful journey of learning how to make money online.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. I tell people all the time, sometimes it takes for your back to be up against the wall for you to say, you know what, I don't have to tolerate this. I don't have to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And, start your journey. Okay. Right. And what I always tell people too is that don't start it when you have lost your job or you decided to quit. And then now you want to start. You actually need to put things in place a little bit ahead of time.
Exactly.
That income coming in while you're building that foundation. I think that's really important. So yeah, it is funny. I have a typical story, say pretty much the same story, but I wasn't in the educational, I wasn't a teacher, but I was in a situation where my back was against the wall. And I'm like, you know what, next year, I don't want to have to do this. And
that's right.
Again, I don't want to have to depend and rely on one income. So when you actually just started your online journey, where there's some things that you really focused on that allowed you to become successful online?
Yeah, I tell this story a lot. I'm very clear with people that one of the first things they need to do is get a blueprint. And what I mean by that, and that's funny because now I do help beginners, kind of find their way online. But one of the things that cut my learning curve dramatically, and I see a lot of people that after 2 years, they're still a beginner. After 3 years, they're still a beginner because they will jump from program to program. They won't invest in programs, but won't invest in coaching to teach them the marketing shortcuts that they need to know, things like how do you brand yourself, right? How do you brand yourself? How do you kind of craft your stories, share your story? How do you create pre-sale pages, like basic landing pages that help, people get, these are marketing skill sets that can make you a lot of money, but if you don't know them and you're just jumping from opportunity to opportunity, you never learn these basic foundational skill sets, then you're going to think that making money online is for everybody but you can make that money too. You just got to learn some skill sets. So it's always a learning process. Like, I'm still learning things along the way, but I thank God that I early on saw a mentor online and she told me her price, and I was like, at the time I didn't have it, but I found the money because I was like, you know what, I found money that I didn't have to go to college, so why can't I find money that I don't have to learn how to be a marketer that can create me full-time income? Correct. And that was the best thing that I did, cut my learning curve dramatically.
Correct. And you know what, you said there were some key points that you've actually touched on that I just want to kind of touch on as well. That's what I was doing, jumping from one program to the next, because you think that it's the program that's not allowing you to earn full-time income, but it's actually the skill set.
That's right.
That's what it is. And if a lot of people really understood that, and I'm saying this to you, speaking to whoever's watching this video, that is the most important part of the journey, is having the skill set, because you can jump to 15, 20, 30 programs over the course of 2 years and still be at zero. That's because right. You don't have the skill set or the blueprint to know what you do once you purchase that program. And it's so funny because I was just telling people, Kirk, since I did a live the other day, and I was saying that what's the difference between a sponsor and a mentor? It's not the same thing.
I gotta watch that. Hold on.
Anyone can sponsor you into a program. Anyone can sponsor you into a program, but a sponsor is not the same thing as a mentor. Mm-hmm. A mentor is someone that holds you by the hand and actually teach you the steps and the skills that you need in order to be successful. And that's what separates you from the rest. That's what allow you, like Kirk Shinta said, to dramatically decrease the amount of time it takes to actually start learning. Mm-hmm. So my first year, I was getting into a lot of programs and I was spending a lot of money on programs. Yep. And it wasn't until I actually got a mentor that I was like, oh, okay, that's what I meant.
Light bulb.
The light bulb moment. Yep. Correct. Yep. So then again, what I tell people too is now what your mentor tells you to do, you have to then start applying it daily in order for it to turn into, a success story. Okay.
Right. And can I hop on that? That's another point. Sure. So in addition to getting in addition to getting a blueprint, right now I'm in a phase where to get to the next level where I want to go, I'm learning some higher level things, and my mind is like that, right? And it's so easy in that stage to get overwhelmed. What I see people do is they may have a blueprint that their mentor gave to them, and they go through it one time. And I think that across the industry, we need to be taught how to relearn, because we come into the industry and it's like, you know what? I went through this course one time and I don't get it, so I give up. This is too hard. And it's like, you might have to go through it one time just to have an understanding, a basic understanding. You might have to go through it a second time. You might have to go through it a third time and then start applying it. You might have to go through it a fourth time with a friend. Right? Be like, okay, I got part A. You got part B? Okay, we got this, right? Me and April Skinner used to do this together all the time to try to figure out pieces of marketing, and we got it. Right. So
yep. And you're right, because sometimes you have to look at things more than once in order for you to understand it. That's why when you start a job, they normally put you through a week or 2 weeks of training, because they know it's going to take more than one day,
that's right,
one time, one go around to really understand. And what I tell people is we're reprogramming our brain to learn something new, but in reality, it's a lot of the same things as a job. For example, go through your first 90 days before a company may decide to keep you on or let you go. Your first 90 days is really your building blocks, your stepping stones for a business, right?
Probationary period.
Exactly. That's your probationary period. So you want to go as fast as you can in the beginning so that you can build momentum. So that reminds me of a job. The second thing is, at a job, you don't get a raise right away, right? You had a job for maybe 6 months to a year before you get a raise. Same thing online. You may not start to hit those other levels of income that you're looking for until a certain period of time. So it's not right away. It's just like, it reminds me of a job. The only thing that is different is that you have time freedom. You work when you want. and the sky's the limit as far as what you want to make, depending on how much time, energy, money you have to apply in order to learn. So what I tell people all the time is it's really the same thing in a sense. It's just that you are reprogramming your brain to learn something new. And you may be at a job for 10, 15, 20 years doing the same thing. And now you have to reprogram yourself to leave that in the past and now work on something new. So what I want to discuss is, what are some of the tools that you think is extremely important for a beginner when they're coming into this industry?
Okay. Well, I think one of the first things, and I think one of the first things my mentor pointed out to me, and I didn't realize this until I was maybe 6 months in, that had left thousands of dollars on the table, because I was just literally sending people direct to a landing page. I wasn't sending people through a capture page and capturing their email address so I could market to them and follow up with them. And I was like, well, I'm following up with them in the inbox, right? Because I'm a Facebook marketer. So I was like, well, I'm following with them in the inbox. Why do I need that? And I really wasn't getting it, you know, the return on investment by pairing social media marketing with email marketing. That's it. So now I understand to me, that's a foundational skill. It's like, you want to go to college and not buy books. So you wouldn't become an online business person and not have an autoresponder. Like, I don't care what type of marketing you're doing, you should just have one. So yeah. I think that's the first thing. Second thing is video marketing. It's amazing to me. And this is not to bash newbie marketers. We all have fears, right? Like, I tell this story about throwing up and crying when I had to do my first video. I literally did. I threw up and I cried like a big baby. And people are like, well, now you have this video problem. Like, you know how many videos I've done to this day? But when I first started making videos, that was not my presence. You know what I mean? But video marketing, from day one, turn that phone around and start recording a video. You can mumble, you have gaps in your teeth. Just start telling your story and start sharing what you love about your product or service, your opportunity, what you're learning. And from day one, if you start doing that, you know, over time, you'll start seeing better conversions and know, like, and trust, and you'll build a brand and you're not even recognizing that you're building a brand. So start doing that video marketing from day one.
Yeah. And it's so funny you said that, because I tell people all the time, people join people. Okay. There's someone out there that's waiting to hear your story. And you just, like, the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck, because I have so many people that said, I followed you since day one, and you have 2 kids just like me, and you're a single mom just like me. You never know who's out there that's just waiting to hear your story so that they can connect with you and you inspire them to be great, you know? And I tell everybody that no matter what color you are, no matter what race, no matter what your educational background is, there's someone out there waiting to connect with you. But your fear is holding you back from building that connection. And, you know, I was interviewing someone else, and we were talking about how the fear is mainly in our head more than it's other people. It's really you. You know, I remember my first live like it was yesterday, and I felt like my makeup had to be perfect. The weather had to be perfect. I was all the way in Las Vegas on a business conference, and it's crazy because I was making money without video marketing, but I just knew that it would take me to another level. But I also knew that I had a story to share, and I just felt like if I could do this, anybody could do it. So I was just excited to share, and I had my first live, and I couldn't believe it. I like, after the conference, I went back to my Facebook to take a look. I had over 1,200 views.
Ooh, yes.
Like, this is my first live video. And people were reaching out to me, and they were so impressed, and they wanted to know who I was and where did I come from, and how do you even exist? Like, how did you do this? And let me tell you, you'll get some of the greatest feedback from people who are inspired, and that's what's going to keep you going and help motivate you and help you to feel more comfortable in your skin to be who you are. So back to you.
This is a coaching session. I'm nodding like,
But it's true. I just love sharing the just the experience, and not only that, with other people and where I've seen, because I've seen Kirk Shinta, we got in this pretty much together at the same time.
I'm so excited.
and it's just like to see how we went from zero to a little bit to a lot, and how it happens over time. It's just really an amazing experience. So another thing that I wanted to ask you is when a person is looking at a program that they want to get into, an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
is there any suggestions that you have for that person that's looking for a brand new opportunity? What to look for, what the do's and the don'ts? Can you give any advice about that?
Yeah, what I normally, a lot of times people this is why I tell people, first, look, before you join anything, look at it through the lens of, is this something I would be passionate about promoting? Because I'll be honest, I've joined things before, and like maybe like 2 months, 3 months into, I'm like, I'm not feeling this. And it has nothing to do with like, the product is great. It's just not something that I was passionate about, or that's something that I could wake up literally every day and be like, I want to do this. I want to talk about this. I want to share this. I want to use this every day. And I just, so make sure that you're passionate about it first. Second thing I always tell people is, don't join because you looked at somebody's paycheck. Like that's cool. That's cool, right? But join based on if they have something that they could teach you, and it doesn't mean that they're going to hold your hand one-on-one and teach you. A lot of like people online are like, so, one-on-one, are you going to teach me? I'm like, no, I'm not. But I give great mentorship, great systems to plug people into, a great mentorship, right, in my tribe. And I tell people that's what you're looking for is, does the person that is going to sponsor you into this system, this program, this opportunity, this service or whatever, do they have something to plug you into that can show you what you need to know, but that doesn't mean that somebody's going to hold your hand. That's not realistic.
Correct. And yeah, that's right. You have to be able to do some of the footwork on your own as well. And then if you do want one-on-one training, you pay the person for their time. That's how I feel too. You have to be willing to pay people for their time, because time is valuable. People have families and other things that they have to do.
Oh wait, I have one more thing I want to add too. And okay. I think, I learned this over time. And this over time, I started out with income streams, and they're cool to have like the lower income stream. I think you should still have them in your toolbox. But the game changer for me was mid-ticket, high-ticket like affiliate marketing. And
that's right.
Being able to have, so I say if you're going to look at something, look at getting something that's high ticket, that has multiple commission structures inside, and that also has some leverage built into it, because that's another game changer for me. When I did a video called like the Guru Blueprint, where I talked about that, about how passive commissions, like I would just like wake up and like, oh, well, I just got paid $250 and I didn't do anything because of the income structure of different opportunities. So I would say look at something that's high ticket if you can, and look at something that has some leverage built in, either like some passive commissions or some overrides or something like that. So look at some of those things when you're deciding what you're going to promote, just to think smart.
Yeah, and that's true. I spoke about that in my training yesterday. Leverage is important. Leverage, because sometimes people want to come in at the bottom, but people don't know that the money is really made in the middle and at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're at the bottom, everything is passing you by and you don't even realize it, because it's in the back, it's on the back end.
Right.
It's happening, so you don't see it.
Right.
I always tell people, don't come in at the lowest level, because most people aren't there. They're looking for that leverage, so they'll come in at the mid, and that's where you actually start building that full-time income.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather earn unlimited $7 commissions or unlimited $150 commissions?
Right. Like that $250 is golden. Like,
yeah, $250 is golden.
$250, $500, $1,000.
Let me tell you, and people think people are not going to spend it, and I was one of those people in the beginning. But people will spend it. For my program, 500 is the medium for most.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
People come in at 500. They're not looking at 100. They're not looking at 250. They're looking at 500 and better.
Right.
So I tell people, if you're looking for, this lady said, I need to make $2,000 a month. And I said, well, in my program, that means you only need 6 people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A month. So how hard is it to get 6 people in a month if a program is available to everybody in the United States and Canada? I mean, the sky is the limit, literally.
The limit, yeah.
You are, and I said, that's not hard. 6 people is not hard at all. But of course, there's some things that you have to do, and there's some skill sets that you need to be able to learn in order to accomplish that and for it to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the last question. I'm gonna let you go, but I just want to say, a lot of things that you're saying is a lot of things that I touch on. And, that's one of the things that some of the marketers that I've interviewed have not touched on, which is the blueprint. And, for all of my 2018, that's what I discuss is the blueprint, because that's literally what allowed me to go from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year was the blueprint, and I think that if everybody has a blueprint to know exactly what to do when you get in front of the computer, that makes so much of a difference.
It makes a difference.
Instead of you sitting there and kind of like trying to figure it out and put the pieces of the puzzle together. So if you can leave everybody with the one thing the one piece of advice that you can give to anybody, any newbie beginner that is starting an online or a offline business, what is the one thing that you would like to leave them with?
Oh man. Okay. You said one thing, but can I make it two?
Yeah, you can make it two. You can make it.
Okay. First thing is mindset. Because when you're starting online, it's foreign to you. It's a journey for most people, even if they've been online. The journey of making money online it's foreign to a lot of people. So your family, people around you, even you're watching other people. It's a lot of things that get in your head that deter you from really reaching what you need, where you need to go, right? So it's so important, and it sounds cliche. I even was like, that's trash every time I heard it, right? Personal development, right?
Me too.
But it's so important because it's so now I find myself listening to Rachel Hollis, people like that, just to make sure that my mind is together. Actually, Stacia Pierce, Attraction Marketing Success Quotes. Get this book. I find myself sticking by this book. She gives like practical things for business owners to do every day to like keep your mind fed and stuff like that. So I keep this right on my desk. So that's important. The second thing,
me that information on
yes, I'm gonna send it to you. I love this book.
Thank you.
The second thing that I think is important is I think you touched on this about talking about a blueprint, but I also think it's equally important to make sure that you have a daily routine, so that you don't just have a blueprint and say, oh, I have one, but what time have you carved out on a daily basis? And like these are things I have to check myself on too, from time to time, but making sure that you have carved out time. Even when I was working full time, I still was like, okay, here's my checklist. And every day I had to find the time to manifest what I said I wanted. I said I wanted to create full-time income. So guess what? I had to put in activities to manifest full-time income, and I had to do it every day. No matter if I, lost a few hours of sleep, right? It didn't matter. I still had to do them. So I think that that's important as well, because I find that sometimes people say, I want to, create extra $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but their activities don't match up with what they say they want to have.
Yeah, and that's really important, that the activity has to match what you're looking for. People they're thinking, if I do, oh my gosh, somebody told me today, and it makes my brain hurt. I have to literally take a break. But a person is like I sent out leads to 250 people and I didn't make a dime. And it's like, no, you need a mentor, because that's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it, and no one would be working at Burger King or Walmart or McDonald's.
Right.
Not that simple.
Right.
It's hard to really explain it to people without actually mentoring them on why, and how to get past that. So yeah, you're right. You have to really know what to do. You have to, if you've been, I'm looking at the camera now, if you've been online for over a year, and you have not had results, the results that you're looking for, or very little results, or you're not making the money that you need to make, to leave your daytime job, you need a mentor. That's telling you that you need to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Someone right there with you that can explain what you're doing wrong and how to make it right. Okay. And that's what changed my life. Literally, a mentor. A mentor is what was able to, for me to really put the pieces of the puzzle together to say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you really don't need that, but you really need this. And you
That's
really
right.
need to focus on this and leave that alone.
Right.
You know, when I first came online, I was so focused on the money. It was ridiculous because I wanted out of my job. It wasn't about me being selfish. It wasn't about me taking advantage of anybody. I wanted to be able to feed my children and leave my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yep.
so I became desperate in a way, even though I still had an income, but I didn't have the correct mindset in order to start building the income, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to fix that. I had to fix that mindset. And then I started to see slowly but surely that people were inspired. People wanted to know more. And even though I didn't know a lot, the little bit that I could teach someone, I knew would help them to start producing a full-time income. Because
That's
I
right.
don't know everything. I don't know Instagram. I don't know Twitter. I don't know LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm being honest.
No, me neither.
I don't know Facebook ads. I don't know Snapchat. But I realized I don't need to know everything in order to produce a full-time income.
Right.
So now, rewind 3 years later, being a multiple six-figure earner, it's easy for me to teach people, right, how to do this without having to know everything.
That's right.
It's
Just
too
start.
much to learn.
Just start.
Yeah, it's too much to learn to know everything. But
Mm-hmm.
you take what you're good at and you apply it over and over and over again in order to produce that full-time income. So I just want to say thank you, Kirshinta,
Thanks for having me.
for coming out today. I really appreciate it. I am just fascinated with your journey. I've been here from the beginning. I've been rooting you on from the beginning. I remember those days putting up those pictures and seeing the what you was going through at your job and how you was determined to make a difference, and you did it. So if we can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. And I want to leave you guys with that. Enjoy your Tuesday. Have a great week, and I'll be back with you another day. Have a
Bye,
good
guys.